Good afternoon, everyone, from New York City. It is afternoon indeed here because we just changed the time and moved our clocks 1 hour later, just last night. So it is now 12 p.m. here in New York. I want to dedicate today's walk to all our fellow Russian citizens who have not been afraid to speak up against the war, to all our Ukrainian sisters and brothers who have the patience to separate Russian citizens from their government, and who have the strength to stand for peace and union among different nationalities, even while under attack. I want to dedicate today's walk to all those heroes who have the fortitude to practice peaceful resistance in front of police violence, in front of armed soldiers, in front of even moving tanks. Today, I want to celebrate freedom of speech because I can. Because I'm privileged enough to be able to speak up my rights and my ideas. I'm sure most of you listening to me now are in the same position. Let's not give it for granted. And it's for this reason that I decided to start my walk here in the symbol of freedom of speech in New York City, Union Square. And good afternoon, everyone. I am here just behind the camera. I wonder how many of you were able to recognize this place from this first image, this first shot. This is the famous Union Square on 14th Street in Lower Manhattan. And you know, this space here, for who doesn't know New York City that well, all this space with the stairs, it's the place where so many manifestations and protests have taken place and still take place nowadays. And that's why I thought for today's walk to start it here, because it was perfect for today's celebration. And of course, as you can see, we are indoors right now, and not for long. I am going downstairs right now, but I just wanted to show you this incredible view from top of Union Square. And you know, you will be surprised because it is inside a mall. So right now I'm talking to you from the inside of a shoe store, which to me as a European, as an Italian, it is pretty sad to see that one of probably the best view of one of the most important places of Manhattan is inside of a private mall, which is simply used for commercial purposes. I don't know about you, but I've always found it very sad. So yeah, that's why I wanted to bring you here, but now we are gonna walk out of this place and we're gonna go outside. Look at the view that Americans get when they shop for shoes. For the first minutes of this live streams, I am going to ignore the comments just because I have some things that I want to talk about, but right after that I'm going to start reading the comments. Don't worry, It's just that if I start right now, I know that I won't be able to, oh, this is the enter. I won't be able to go on with what I want to talk about. But in the meantime, while I'm going downstairs, hello to everyone in the chat. Hello from southeast of Italy, Marco Giuseppe, hi there. Hello Fabio, hello Khaled, Matrix, out and about with yours truly, Safekeeper, hi there. As you see, this is a whole big mall, a whole commercial building. These are all clothes and bags. Robert is joking, saying shopping equals freedom. That is very sad to say. So in the meantime, while we're going outside, the plan for today is to walk towards north, towards the Empire State Building. So my plan is to arrive to the Empire State Building. Let's see if I'm gonna make it through Madison Square Park. And so we pass in front of Flatiron Building as well, which is one of my favorite buildings in New York City. And let me put on some gloves 1 second before we go outside, because you know, I haven't mentioned this yet, but you can understand from my thick jacket and the fact that I have a wool scarf wrapped around my head. It's very cold today in New York. It's super sunny, which is good. You're gonna get some amazing views of Manhattan, but it is also pretty cold, especially very cold for being mid-March. There we go. And I'm gonna have to cope with the fact that I don't have the touch thing on the gloves. So probably I'm gonna try to not flip the camera too often. And we arrived to the road level. And okay, first of all, instead of going to the center of the square, I want to take you to another place, since we are here in this corner. Ciao dal Friuli! Hi from Albania! We featured many of your compatriots on the channel. Why do I use the plural? The channel is just me. So in my recent video about Little Italy, there were so many Albanians. So hi there in Albania. Ralph, hi there. Ralph is one of my moderators and my Patreon. So please check out his comment right now. In the chat, he's inviting you to check out the description of this live stream, because I typed down all the rules of the chat and how you can get me during the live stream to read out loud your comments. Okay, I wrote everything down there. There are a series of rules that I typed just for the well-being of everyone in this chat. Let's go on with the tour. Okay, so we are right now in the southwestern corner of Union Square, and the reason why I wanted to take you here is because of this. So I feel like not so many people pay attention to this monument, this statue, but this is a statue of the great Mahatma Gandhi, and it was, I think, gifted to the city of New York or something like that on the 2nd of October 1986, I believe. It was the year which was the 100th year since the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. So let's see, there is a sign here. You see October 2nd, 1869. It was his date of birth, and it was dedicated to the city of New York City on the 2nd of October 1986. So more than 100 years later, and nobody talks about this statue, but I actually love it. It's probably my favorite corner of Union Square. I've noticed it that I was coming here. I think it's such a beautiful statue, and also I wanted to show it to you right now because, I mean, for obvious reasons. I think this is a way for me to communicate that I want peace in this world, and I don't think that peace is obtainable through extending conflicts. Peace is only obtainable by dropping the weapons and, you know, sending armies home. And this is also what the great Mahatma Gandhi has taught us many years ago. He spoke about Europe, the craziness of Europe, the craziness of the conflicts in Europe, and he invited us to dissolve our armies. We haven't done it, and yet again we are in the same situation that we've been to, that our grandparents have been to only a few decades ago. So my invite today is to listen to the words of great men like him and remember what they have taught us with their lives. If you come to New York City days, or if you live here, maybe if you pass by Union Square, come here for the second and give a thought to the pacifist number one in this world. So, this said, let's go back to the central southern part of Union Square, because that's the best part, is the most significant one, is where all the protests, all the manifestations take place. It is the reason why I decided to start this live stream in Union Square, because this is the symbol of freedom of speech in the city of New York. Or at least this is how I consider it. But you have to consider that almost all manifestations start from here. So, and today, to accommodate also my European friends, I set up this live stream for a pretty early time, so there is no manifestation here today, but I'm sure that later in the afternoon there will be. Let me show you. This is it. As you see, it's a very open space where people can gather, and who has the microphone or whatever, who wants to talk, can stand in an elevated position. That statue is the statue of George Washington on a horse. It's pretty don't remember the exact era, but I've read somewhere that this square has started to be a square for, you know, protests and manifestations and freedom of speech in general during the Civil War, because before that I think it was all fenced, and it was sort of like a park for noblemen or for wealthy people that lived around here, pretty much like Gramercy Park is right now. So yeah, that's it. So right now you don't see anyone, but usually there's always groups of people here with signs and manifesting to stand up for their rights, for their ideas, their opinions. This is something that is very valuable. You know, these past couple of years have been pretty tough in the world in general, and also in New York City, because we've had obviously the pandemic, the coronavirus, and there has been many protests against the vaccine, as everywhere else, of course. And then there has been the Black Lives Matter movement also at the same time of the pandemic. So you have to imagine here, during the Black Lives Matter movement, it was so full of people. This entire square was filled up with people of any age, any race, any nationality as well. And also, this is the place where most of the people have come to celebrate the non-re-election of Donald Trump in November last year. And now it is the place where many people come to manifest their ideas about the current Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Just a few days ago I was here and I was just running errands and passing by. You know, this is 14th Street running there. It's a pretty big street that runs east to west and vice versa. And I was walking there and I saw that there was a manifestation with Ukrainian flags, and I got closer and I saw that the people were standing with no flying zone signs. And I made a video and put it on my Instagram, and I said that these were pro-war manifestations, and people got a little bit confused, and maybe I should explain myself a little bit better, because that was not very well explained. But after all, that's Instagram, you know, it's hard to explain things properly on Instagram because it's such a quick platform. What I meant is that, of course, these people were pro-help to Ukrainian civilians and army, and they wanted to set up an offline zone. But to me personally, based on the research that I've made, setting up a no-fly zone in Ukraine right now would mean extending the conflict to the entire NATO, which would mean literally creating the Third World War. So if you are advocating for a no-fly zone, to me, based on the research that I've made, I repeat, that means advocating pro-war, which I know that you want to make a war to stop another war, but I don't think that's the solution. But that's okay. I'm gonna close it here, and I just wanted, before we continue walking towards north, I want to show you this thing like this I don't know how to call it. So this is an art installation. It's a public art installation that has been funded with private money, and I've read some time ago that let me run. I'm crossing Broadway right now. This has been an funded by the company that runs this commercial building here, and I've read somewhere that this is one of the most hated public art installations in New York City. It's called the Metronome, and this is sort of a clock. It is supposed to be a reflection on time, on the measurement of time. I think that here, you see, there is a hole in the middle of that golden thing, and I think steam comes out of there once a day. I've never seen it, I just read it. And here, this digital clock that is flashing on video. At least in my video I see it flashing, but it's not flashing in real life, so keep that in mind. It's just a normal clock, and it's actually, I thought this was supposed to point out the time of the day, but now I see 7 years, 131 days, 8 hours, 23 minutes, 37 seconds, I think. So this was not what I read on Wikipedia. I read something else, but this is a pretty thing that you see on Union Square, and I just find it funny that people really don't like this thing. And it costs something like $4 million to make, something like that. Whatever. Let's go on. This is another art installation that came out during the pandemic, during the lockdowns, and I like it very much. Let me cross. So Union Square, basically, I told you, it is enclosed between 14th Street and basically that is 5th Avenue, more or less. Here is the old Bowery, now would be 4th Avenue, I think. But 4th Avenue in that direction, so direction south, becomes Bowery Road. And then I think it's probably 17th Street, the north side of the square. Hello there from Russia. Martin, referring to the metronome, it used to be a dead clock. Okay, I know that they have changed. Sometimes they change. They've done something about climate change. They've done something about the terrorist attacks. And here inside is a little park. This is a playground for kids. Tiny. And the northern part of the square, where we are getting right now, is where usually there is the farmers market, the famous green market of Union Square. It's done 4 days a week. So it's strange today. Today is one of the only 3 days where there is no market. Usually here they put the compost station. You can drop off your food scraps to create compost and help reducing the city waste. Here starts all the vendors of fruit and veggies and plants and aromatics, flowers, all kind of things. But because today there is not the market covering it, we can see this structure, which usually it's hard to see. I should have gone through the park because now the sun is coming from the south, so from the other direction. Sorry about that. Take 7, spring just around the corner. Yes, but in the meantime, I don't know if I told the temperature of today's. So today it's -1 degree. It was this morning I woke up, it was -5. I'm talking about Celsius, of course. Now it should be -1. And because it's quite windy, it's perceived as -6. which, talking about Fahrenheit, that would be, so -1 would be 30 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's perceived as 22 Fahrenheit. So it doesn't feel extremely springy. As you can see, there is also a beautiful bike lane running all around Union Square. And it's very easy if you are in Midtown, so northern of 14th Street, to bike down on Broadway, because on Broadway it runs a very beautiful bike lane all over Broadway. There are even parts that are only for cyclists and pedestrians, close to car traffic. And sorry, but you see this? I mean, spring until a certain point. That is ice. So very often I bike down through Broadway. We are walking on Broadway right now. Maybe it's the last day that YouTube is free in Russia, or legal. Antonio, no, it is not possible to see my position on the maps, but you can kind of follow what I say, even though, you know, it's a bit difficult to it's a bit risky to give out your position when you do live stream here on Manhattan. I have some YouTuber colleagues who have been harassed because there are kids on either YouTube or other platforms that like to follow random YouTubers during the live streams and bother them. So yeah, that's also why I don't give it out so openly, but I guess today I made an exception because you are completely able to locate me. You know, one of the things that I love to do the most when I stroll around cities in general is to walk while looking up, because cities usually have these tall buildings. Of course, New York City is the queen of tall buildings with all the skyscrapers, and I think, you know, if you just look in front of your nose or down your nose, you miss out a lot when you are in a city. So I don't do it very often because obviously it's very dangerous, especially in crowded cities like this one, but I'm holding the camera up now for a moment to show you safely what you might miss if you don't look up. This building is particularly beautiful, I must say. Look at that. 𝙍𝙪𝙡𝙚 likes. Ralph, thanks for communicating me the count. Give it a like if you're liking the live stream. Hi Jason, can you talk about why freedom of speech is dying and why you think that is? In the meantime, I received a super chat from Elise. Thank you very much for the super chat. You can use super chats as tips to give me, to donate me money, or if you have a comment that you particularly want me to read out loud, you can send it through a super chat and I am gonna read it out loud. In the meantime, Jason was asking to talk more about why freedom of speech is in danger. Well, I don't know if it's in danger more than usual, Jason. I think freedom of speech is always in danger, like the democracy in general. Right now, I think the biggest challenge that we have is that, okay. Ooh. Maybe I should turn the camera now. I think the biggest challenge that freedom of speech is facing right now is the fact that now speech can be publicly recorded. So what I mean by that is that with the internet, we are all able to publish our opinions and our ideas in a very quick way, which means that we can do it very often when we haven't thought through our thoughts that much, haven't researched them that much. We don't have the competence to give out certain opinions. But now the internet and social media are making it very easy and very quick. And so the quantity of opinions out there have increased very much, which, you know, back in the days before the internet, opinions were mostly in newspapers or posters on the streets, or you had to go to protest in the street and pull up a sign. And if you were just, if a common citizen, not very socially engaged, would just give their own opinion, would be to his family or her friends to the bar or to his colleagues, you know. Now, if you write down your own opinion, first of all, it's written down and it's recorded. It's not just, you know, said out in the air. And second, it is it is so quickly, it's reaching such a wide audience so quickly. And that can become a problem, right? Because are we really sure that the internet and social media, the way they are being used right now, are increasing democracy, increasing freedom, and guaranteeing equality for everyone? For example, on a political level, we are seeing that politicians that are governing countries are more and more pressured by the opinion of the public, which is not anymore like the traditional kind of public opinion, but it's also the opinion that is created online with these many groups that have different ideas and different perspectives on matters, on social matters and things that regard the whole society. And if politicians' power relies on this consensus, I hope it's the right word in English, then, you know, it's very hard for them to follow these opinions because they are so many and they're so quick, and especially when ideas and opinions are given in a quick way, they become shallower. I mean, usually this is how it goes. If the quantity goes up very quickly, the quality lowers down. This is almost inevitable, right? It's almost a law of physics. And I feel like this is what's been happening in the last decade or two. The quantity has gone up because of these digital technologies that allow us to produce a ton of content without costs, and without cost in terms of money, in terms of resources, and in terms of time as well. You know, we don't have to go to the post office and send out an article to a newspaper and then wait for the newspaper to read it, approve it, and publish it. We can just, you know, post an article on our blog and it's out there to the public. So this is creating many, many problems. It's also wonderful. I mean, I think there's no need to say that these new technologies are absolutely wonderful. They have an incredible potential. We are seeing it right now. Russian-Ukrainian conflict, that social media are really being able, YouTube also, that people of different nationalities, even if we don't understand them when they speak, because they speak a different language and they are so far on the other side of the world maybe, but they're still people like us, you know. They have families, they have brothers, sisters, they have kids, they have fear for the same things that we fear, and so on. So social media have this incredible power to unite people, but at the same time they have an incredible power to divide people by their opinions. And so basically I cannot go too much into depth in a live stream, of course, while I'm walking around, but I am talking about exactly these topics on my newsletter. So I started this year a newsletter. I send it out only once per month, first Monday of the month, or maybe even every 2 months now. I'll see if what I can manage to do. But yeah, so I have this newsletter where I, first of all, write a little essay about these topics, about communication on the internet, how it's influencing our society and our world, and what are the problems of it, and all these kind of things. So if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, you're welcome to do so. I left the link to my website in the description of this live stream. You can just go to my website and subscribe there in one of the many subscription forms to the newsletter. If you want more insights about this topic. But for now, let's stop here.
I like your headband, man.
Hi, Carlos. New subscriber. Super chat from David. Hi David, in quasi 40 isolati arriverai al consolato italiano. Wow, that's a lot of blocks. But maybe because I keep walking, and I also didn't pay attention to the direction I was walking to, because I was talking and I was lost in my thoughts. So let's see, maybe I will change itinerary. QWERTY, very good suggestion. If you start talking about very interesting topics on the live chat, you better switch to the comments of the live stream, because that way they're gonna stay there. You know, the live chat is gonna just sort of disappear within the live stream. Instead, the comments down below will stay there, so we are all gonna be able to read your comments and see the conversation if it's interesting. So that was a very nice suggestion. The power of social media combined with their speed, that's the point, exactly. A long story short. Hey there, thanks for the super chat. Have you ever been to Long Island? Yes, I have, a few times. Long Island, for who doesn't know, is New York City towards east into the ocean, basically. And many people go there to go to the beach. Many people live there as well. But in the last 10-15 years, I've heard that it became very, very popular for very wealthy people from the city to buy multi-million on the coastline of Long Island. And actually, one time I went there to East Hampton exactly to visit one of these friends of mine that is super rich by family, lives in the city, but he was staying at his mom's house there, whatever. I didn't like that part of Long Island that much, but I've heard that the northern part is more, it has a more local feeling to it. Let's leave Park Avenue. I'm walking randomly, by the way. I just cannot keep my orientation and talk about difficult topics at the same time. Sorry. So that's it for Long Island. I want to go to the northern side, but I haven't been to it yet. Because, you know, it's very close to New York City, but to go outside of the city from Manhattan in that direction, you have to cross the entire Brooklyn and or Queens, which takes 1 hour just to go outside of the city. So it's kind of crazy. So it's not very convenient to go to Long Island from here. I mean, it's not very quick. Leo, that was, I mean, I would love to read out your comment and answer, but you have to write it down in English. I'm sorry, I'm not able to translate it in Italian while I walk and while I follow the chat. Matrix, about the situation in New York and the situation in New York and MJ planning to move to another American city. No, absolutely not. MJ can comment on AK, which would be Action Kid going to Miami. How about his dissatisfaction with life in New York City? Well, about his dissatisfaction for life in New York City, you should ask him, not me. Action Kid, many people know him in the chat right now, but I'm sure many people don't. He's a fellow YouTuber, live streamer from New York City who recently moved to Miami, Florida to pay less taxes because taxes in New York City went up so much. Because people living here have to pay not only the state taxes but also the city taxes, which are very high. But I mean, Okay, hello. Wait a second. My gimbal died. Okay, going back. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, I'm not the right person to ask about taxis and these kind of topics. You know, I'm just... Let me show you these kind of views. It's overexposed and I cannot control the exposure right now. It's a pity. Oh God, I think my gimbal is having problems with the cold. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. Am I wrong, or since COVID came, there are less cars on the streets? I know it's Saturday, but I noticed that also the other days there are less cars. Yes, Leo, absolutely. There is much less traffic, much less people, as you can see. Of course, it's Saturday, but still, it's kind of ridiculous, especially when you go. I mean, I live in Lower Manhattan, which is not so bad. Oh my God, there's a construction site here, and it's very loud. I'm sorry about it. I'm gonna possible, but there are definitely less people in Manhattan in general, and the area of Midtown is the worst one because it's the least residential and more commercial office areas, so it's really deserted right now. And we arrived to 5th Avenue. That's a nice church. Oh my God, let's go away. Jason, who is a New Yorker, commented, Madison Avenue is so dead, especially between 34th and 59th Street. I know this. Yes, that's exactly the area I was talking about. Antonio, I'm not in Soho, I'm on West 31st Street and 5th Avenue. you'll get a better view of the Empire State Building. You can see that we are entering touristy area here. And there is a little bit more people who look like tourists, at least to me. Ciao Alberto da Bologna! I guess you cannot get closer to the Empire State Building without going inside of it. I wonder how many of you in the chat have been on top of the Empire State Building up there. Lorenzo, why is the view disturbing? Oh wait, I missed the super chat. Ah, let me stop for a second. Hello everyone, I'm sorry I missed the super chat. David, hi. Thanks again for the super chat. Ci sono qualche bei ristoranti? Oh my god, David, it would be better if you wrote in English, because that way everyone can understand in the live chat. There are some nice restaurants, almost like in Italy. Serafino, Osteria Laguna, and Mediterraneo, at walking distance from me. Are you talking about here in New York City? Ciao Francesco da Napoli. Robert, I lived in New York City for 37 years and never made it to the top of the Empire State Building. I've been living here for more than 2. I've been hanging out here for 4, and I've never made it to the top of the Empire State Building on my, how do you say, like by myself. I've been once invited by Action Kid, which I'm gonna give another shout out now. Shout out to my good colleague, good YouTuber fellow Action Kid. Check out his channel if you like this kind of New York City live streams, because his channel is entirely about New York City live streams. Although he recently, last week, he moved to Miami for the first time, because he was born in New York City and has always lived in New York City. But I'm sure his live streams from Miami are gonna be just as entertaining as the ones from New York City. Jason, I can't believe I've never been there either. Oh my god, wait, I hope that they honor the lifting of the I don't know why you have to misspell words. I don't like when people don't use proper English or Italian. Anyway, there are some places that still require vaccines, I think, but they are very few in my experience. Also, restaurants don't ask you about the vaccine anymore. This is how it works. David, thanks for the super chat. Of course, New York City. Yes, no, it's just that you were talking about Italian restaurants with Italian names, so I thought for a second maybe he's talking about something else. Okay, let me flip the camera, show you where we arrived. Peter, greetings from the East Village. That's my neighborhood, that's where I live. Maybe we're gonna meet each other one day. Come say hi if you see me around the East Village one day. We came back to Broadway. This is called Greely Square, as you can see from the signs. And it's a nice place because this whole area is close to car traffic. And you can see that there is a little bit of green, of trees and vegetation, but also there are these nice tables and chairs, and it feels a bit quieter here. So whenever New York City pre-pandemic was full of people and energy, these tables, especially at lunchtime, would be full of people having lunch, especially people who work here, because this is an important office area or commercial area in general. So when they go out of the buildings to have lunch, they very often come here. Or maybe you can find people here with their laptop, working on their laptop as well, or tourists just hanging out. Yeah, it's a nice little corner. There are a few of these corners in Manhattan. Hi from Gorizia, hi there, from Friuli, also my home region. Long story short, do you have a live stream schedule? Also, thanks again for the super chat. I don't currently have a live stream schedule, but I usually do them about once a month on Sunday around this time, between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. New York City time. Usually I publish on Sundays, and usually I publish edited videos. I like to create edited videos because I think they have a little bit more value to my eyes, at least. Of course, many people prefer live streams then. But QWERTY, thanks for the super sticker. Oh, I see Judith in the chat. Hi there. Another one of my patrons and another New Yorker as well. So this is 6th Avenue, this one that you can see here that continues there, also called Avenues of the Americas. But I think now we're gonna walk a little bit towards south, maybe follow Broadway, because I really like this part of Broadway. I like to walk here, I like to bike here. This is a nice little park. As you can see, in any park of New York City, it's not permitted to smoke, which is something that as a European I still have difficulties to remember. My husband, for example, he likes to smoke the cigar, and very often I tell him, let's go to the park so that you can smoke a cigar, and he's like, don't you remember that you cannot smoke in parks? No, I don't. It's just, it's so hard because You know, in Italy, smoking is something that very often is seen as like a recreative activity, like something that you do to chill, to hang out, to relax. You sit down on a bench in a park and you smoke a cigarette or a cigar or the pipe or whatever you smoke. But yeah, here it's not permitted, and I'll tell you what, I like that. I mean, I don't like that, but I prefer it this way, because here people really smoke very little. And I used to be a smoker myself. I've been a smoker for many years. But here I don't feel the... I don't even crave cigarettes, because nobody around me is smoking anyway. So that's a very good thing about New York City. See people having lunch. Very nice. I love this type of little parks in the middle of the traffic. They're like little oases of almost peace. I wish I could see who this guy is, but I don't want to bother the two ladies having lunch there. Judy, thanks for the super chat. Hi there. Sorry for the glove, but I don't have the touch on my glove, so I have to keep it like this. So good to see you on live stream, MJ, and thoughtful insights as always. I'm glad you enjoyed my live streams, Judith. Here's the entrance of 34th Street subway station. See, cigarettes were very popular in Croatia. After they have risen sharply due to taxes, almost no one smokes. Too bad cigarettes are healthier to calm down than pills. Yeah, but what about going for a walk in a park? Isn't that healthier than cigarettes as well? Question about architecture. A little poll here. Do you prefer brick buildings or glass buildings, like glass and steel buildings? Because this is something that I always discuss with my friends here in New York City, because coming from such an old country like Italy, where all the buildings are old, literally all the buildings. We have no very tall buildings, we have no modern glass buildings. So to me, these type of buildings that you can see right behind me, these are always the most fascinating ones, although I see that many people kind of don't like it. They prefer the old brick buildings. Look at that, brick. Oh my god, am I the only one? I can't believe it. Art Deco. Okay, brick, everyone brick. Okay, good. That was a nice poll. I got my answer. Antonio, are you near Times Square? I am actually 10 blocks away from Times Square. Times Square in 10 blocks towards north, towards that direction. Okay. Another poll. Do you want me to walk these 10 blocks and go to Times Square? Or do you want me to keep walking in this beautiful sun towards south on Broadway? If there are many people who push for Times Square, I can also go to Times Square. I don't love it particularly, but that would be fine. Oh, Ralph, super chat. Yes, okay. I see stickers here. Oh my god, Querty, thanks for the super chat. Querty, affectionate patrons. And by the way, if you wish to support me on Patreon too, there is also a link down below in the description of this live stream for you to check out my Patreon page. I publish extra content there. I publish more often than on YouTube on my Patreon page, and you get more personal insights as well. So check it out if you're interested. Thanks QWERTY for the super chat. Okay, I hope I didn't miss other super chats. Maurizio, 𝙍𝙖𝙩𝙩? Another Friulan on the chat. Okay, south. Antonio wants me to go to Times Square. Sun and south. South. Go to Brooklyn, Ocean Planet. Thank you. It's like, go food yourself. Keep walking in the sun. Okay, I think the majority wins, so that's it. I keep walking in the sun. Come on, it's such a beautiful day. Wow, we are 175 people following this live stream. Very nice. Please put a like so that you are telling YouTube that you like to follow this live stream, and YouTube is gonna give us more visibility on the platform. Hit that like button, people. And also remember, if you have any significant comment that you want to leave, please share it in the comments down below rather than on the live chat, so that it stays there and we can see it. Also people watching the replay can see it. Charles is asking me to go off the beaten track, walk the side streets for a detour. Charles, there is no off the beaten track. We're in the middle of Manhattan, unfortunately, so it's not doable. Like, I can walk anywhere here. It's all very popular. Yeah. Oh wait, I missed a super chat. David, I missed your $5 super chat. Oh my god, let me go find it. I'm sorry, David. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's good you stopped smoking. My nonna in Italy died of a stroke at 90 from excessive smoking. First of all, thanks for the super chat, David. And I'm sorry that your grandma died for a stroke because she was smoking. But also, I mean, come on, 90 years old? My grandparents too died around that age, and I think it's a great age to die, you know? You've already lived a very long life. Kevin, ma sei del Friuli davvero? Are you from Friuli for real? Sì, yes, I am from Friuli. Born and raised in the province of Udine, in the countryside, just north of Udine, on the hills. Beautiful place. You should check out my vlogs that I made in Friuli. I made vlogs last summer in Friuli. You find them on my channel. So you can see that I'm a Friulan. I have one video on my channel where I speak Friulan, actually. Fiesta de Patrie. That was March 2021. A year ago I made that video. Go check it out. It had a lot of success, so maybe you will like it too. And I also went to visit the Fogolar Furlan here in New York City, and I made a vlog about it. Fogolar Furlan is like the Friulan community of immigrants to New York City, for who doesn't know it. Are you gonna go to Italy this summer? Absolutely, yes. know, I was stuck in New York City during the pandemic for a year and a half. So summer 2020, I had to spend it here in the city, and it's been very, very tough. Summer in New York City is the worst season to be here, 100%. It's gross, it's smelly, it's hot. It's not nice at all. I don't recommend it to anyone. And yet, most of the tourists come here in the summer. I don't understand why. Mid-seasons are the best moment to come here, actually. These are all the city bikes. In the meantime, you can see they're private bicycles, but they are there for everyone to use. You can download the app. They're pretty expensive if you don't have a subscription. If you have the subscription, I pay $5 a month, but because I have a convention with my bank, so that's a discount. You know what? I could walk towards there. There is a nice church. What street is this one? 29th Street. Dean! Hello there! I don't know you yet. I don't remember your username. Your videos always make me happy. You're always smiling. Where are you going to visit next? Love from Birmingham, UK. Thank you so much for the super chat, Dean, and also for the nice comment. I love it. Yes, I try to smile as much as I can. I do it on purpose. It's not something that always came naturally to me. When I was a teenager, I was very grumpy and very kind of a dark girl. But growing up, I realized that what's the meaning of being grumpy all the time? It's better to smile. It does good to you and good to the people around you that see you. No? Okay, it's red, but there's no one coming. Where I'm going next, I don't know yet. For now, I'm actually struggling because now I got married in New York City. So my husband lives in New York City and I live with him most of the year, but my family is in Italy. So whenever I travel, I try to go and visit them and spend as much time as I can with my parents and my siblings and all my family and my friends there. So it became very hard for me now to just travel and go visit other places, honestly. But I wish I could. So this time, for example, a month ago, I came back to New York City from Italy, and I flew to Berlin before flying to New York from Venice because, so that way I had to fly anyway. So I thought, okay, let me stop a couple of days in Berlin, which is a city that I particularly love. So that's what I did. That's been my last sort of trip. So in New York City, especially in Manhattan, you have this striking contrast between these glass and steel modern buildings and then these little churches or brick buildings, stone buildings that are older. And I don't know, isn't it strange to see them so close together? Oh, it's so quiet here. What happened? Huh, you go away from the avenue? And this is the size of trucks and vans in the United States. I mean, not sure if you can understand how huge this thing is. They're very scary. And this is not even that big. You can find sometimes there are these guys like from the countryside that have these gigantic pickup trucks that, oh my God, we Europeans, we just don't understand these kind of things. building out. I'm noticing, as always, that a few people are asking me where I studied English, how did I learn English, how do I manage to speak English so well. You know, I'm planning to do a video to answer all these questions because I get them literally all the time. So I'm gonna make one of my edited videos, like normal videos on my channel. So check out my channel on Sundays, because on Sundays for Europeans it's in the evening. You're gonna find usually a new video from me. I tend to publish 2 or 3 times a month on Sundays, and one of these weeks I'm gonna answer to these questions and tell you all the story of how I learned English and how I kind of improved so much that I became so fluent in English as well. Look at this other building. It's Art Deco, I think. Very interesting decorations. See, things that you see while you are waiting for the street light. Look at this other one instead. Look, glass and steel. Super tall, and on the other side you have the old church. Isn't it strange? And then here we are again on 5th Avenue. You can see that it continues that direction for another few miles until the island of Manhattan ends. 200 likes! Very well done, people. Very well done. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to close this live stream soon. There. You know, the battery of my phone is suffering because today it's so cold. So usually it lasts way more than 2 hours of live stream, but today it's really for who didn't get the temperature, today it's -1, maybe 0 degrees Celsius right now in New York City. So it's pretty cold. It's also quite windy as well, so it feels much colder than that. That's 32 degrees Fahrenheit for our American friends. How did I learn Friulan? That's my mother tongue together with Italian. That's the regional language that my people speak back at home. Ooh, I'm freezing my hand. Ralph, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Ralph. Oh my god. Feel green, thank you for the super chat, and QWERTY for the sticker, super sticker as well. Very much for the support. I'm glad you. I'm gonna leave you in front of the Flatiron building. Whoever wants to stick, it's gonna be just a couple of 100 meters. I'm almost there. Judith, I missed your super chat. Oh no. Oh no, let me scroll down. I actually saw it, but it was quite a few minutes ago, and I already addressed it. I don't know if maybe you missed that part. Thank you so much for all the likes that you put on this live stream. We're getting closer to Madison Square Park and the beautiful Flatiron building. It's one of my favorite buildings in New York City, in Manhattan. David! Hey David, thanks for the super chat. Do you listen to Italian rap? No, I don't. Actually, I'm not a big fan of rap music in general, and I don't know much of, 90s rap, Italian rap, a little bit, like the great 𝙍𝙖𝙩, for example. There is this song this artist 𝙍𝙖𝙩 made, and it became very popular. It's like one of the most popular Italian songs of the 90s, and it's called Quelli che ben pensano. And I think even if you're a foreigner, it's worth giving it a listen and maybe find the lyrics on Google, because it's very nice. If there is any Italian on the chat, please write down in the comments for English speakers how you write down this artist. 𝙍𝙖𝙩 Energy, NRG. Quelli che ben pensano is the name of the song. Very good one. What about you, David? Especially Il Pagante, Ludwig, 𝙍𝙪𝙧, 𝙍𝙪𝙧. You know, I've never heard these names before. And there it is. You can see tourists taking pictures. And here we arrive in Madison Square Park, all surrounded by these tall buildings. That's the one with the golden pyramid on top. It's kind of strange. These are the brick ones that maybe many of you will appreciate more. I'm so surprised about that poll that I did about which buildings do you prefer the most. None of you answered glass and steel. I love glass and steel buildings, but just because they represent the modernity, the times that we are living right now, the historical era. And here we are, Square Park, two kids playing ball. That's nice to see. It's nice, isn't it? And here, oops, this is closed, so we have to Have you been to Argentina? Someone asked me. No, I have never been to Argentina. I would love to. Also, I know that in Argentina it's full of Italians, and the people whose families emigrated back in the days from Italy are still very much in contact with the Italian culture, Italian language. So it would be nice for sure to go and visit. Okay, people, don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter, link in the description. Go on my website, write down your email, your name. It's a very well curated newsletter. I truly recommend it, not because it's mine, but because it's truly something that I put a lot of effort into, and it's only once a month or once every 2 months, so it's really I'm not gonna spam you or anything like that. Let's go to the musician. Flatiron building. I'm sorry that we are not right in front of it. The street was closed. Oh, there you go. See, manifestation pro-Ukraine. If we were in Union Square right now, I'm sure there would be much bigger manifestations right now. I'm glad I was able to show you one, although the battery of my phone could die any moment.
Ucraina, 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 Ucraina. Bravo! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Follow us on Twitter if you can. Polonia. We're going to be posting updates. Hopefully we're going to do many more of these. Spread awareness, help us, help Ukraine refugees in Poland, and let's keep up the good fight. Thank you guys so much, and Slava Ukraini!
There's some debate there, so all of these.
Okay, QWERTY, thanks for the last super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much everyone for joining me in this live stream. I'm gonna do another one soon. In the meantime, check out my newsletter and check out my channel on Sundays, because that's the day when I published. I gotta go to give a tip to this musician now. Always tip musicians. Support peace and love your neighbors, no matter what they think, no matter how they behave with you. Goodbye, everyone.